Hi, I'm Chris Seaton, and this is the Sit Down with Chris Seaton. Today's episode: Don't Talk to Cops. Now, this may seem like a really simple piece of advice, but it's the one crucial thing I can tell you to do besides lock your phone. Don't speak to police. If you are questioned about an incident, you know that old saying about anything you say or do may be used against you in court? Yep, guess what? It is. It's always used against you. So when it comes to interactions with police officers, don't talk to them. Now, there may be some jurisdictions where you have to do certain things like give them your identification, give them your name, tell them where you're going, but you don't have to say more than that. If a cop asks you why you're not talking and why you're not saying more, you can do something very simple. Just say, I'm scared of police. They actually like that, believe it or not. Police are usually authoritarian figures that want to be feared and respected instead of loved with open arms, like a lot of the police union spokespeople say they do. So don't talk to cops when you're not under investigation. If you are under investigation for some sort of a criminal offense or other offense of any kind, memorize the following phrase, and we're going to put it up on a separate card here in just a moment. But the phrase is the following: Officer, I would love to answer your questions, but my attorneys say that it's better I not speak until they get here. Would you mind if I call one so that he can come down here and sort this out? Let's go ahead and put that on a card for you. Okay, so what you just saw was a little bit simpler of a statement than what I originally said, but it remains imperative that whenever a cop decides to question you about something, you officially, verbally invoke your right to remain silent. That's why it's just as easy to say, Officer, I would like an attorney present for before any further questions are asked. Now, you may be thinking that whole statement about right to remain silent in the Miranda warnings, doesn't that mean you can just clam up? Actually, the answer is no. Court decision after court decision have found that if you just simply clam up and don't speak to police, it can be used later on as evidence of potential guilt or liability against you. So every time a cop asks you a question that could lead to some kind of a incriminating statement or you saying something you don't want to do, you need to say, Officer, I would like an attorney present before any further questions are asked or answered. It's really as simple as that. Uh, Once again, if they ask why you don't want to speak to the cops, you can easily say, police scare me, or law enforcement scares me. And that's fine. They actually like that. The most cops are pretty authoritarian. They want to be feared and respected rather than loved and showered with adoration like a lot would have you believe. Well, at least the police union spokespersons would. Um, so keep that in mind. Make sure that you uphold that rule, and it's going to make your life a lot easier, especially if you have to deal with law enforcement in the future. Um, Federal agents are worth a special mention here because if a federal agent comes to your door and starts asking you questions about something you did, know they've already got a case built against you. And they're just now fishing for added stuff to pile on top of that. So it is crucial in those circumstances, especially, that you say, I'm sorry, I would like an attorney present before any further questions are answered, or some variation of that. And understand in both cases, local or federal, they can always come back to you and ask you another question. Now, if you answer that question, as small as it may be, then you've officially waived that right to remain silent. And what you say to them, they can use against you. So it's crucial. Until your lawyer gets there, repeat that mantra over and over again. Officer, I would like an attorney present before any further questions are answered. Why are the feds so important? Well, this is key because any statement that you make, even if you think you're being helpful about it, if it turns out that part of it was even the slightest bit false, then the feds will call it making false statements to federal authorities, and just wait and see what happens there. Spoiler alert, it is not pretty at all, especially when it comes to the fines, fees, and punishments doled out for what they call a Section 1001. So, best free piece of legal advice they can give you: don't talk to the cops. Now, this also applies in large part to the stuff that you do and say online. Go to the famous Reddit thread r/legal advice, and you will find people on any given day asking for stuff that involves some very incriminating evidence that could be used against them very specifically. I mean, it's not that hard for a person to figure out with a little bit of digging and intelligence exactly who is posting what and what case is being discussed. This is another reason why I don't like online free legal services like Avvo Answers. The least bit of which is that Avvo Answers doesn't require an actual attorney specializing in that area or an attorney with knowledge in that particular area to do their thing. It puts details out there about your case that you don't want to have online, yet a prosecutor with half a brain and a little bit of digging can go on Avvo Answers, go on r/legal advice, and find the incriminating details of your case that you didn't think would come up and ask about. The other thing is just don't post illegal stuff on social media too. I mean, let's brush aside for one the Facebook live streaming incident that happened in, I want to say it was Illinois, of the teens that tortured the young white kid. Let's talk about just bare bones stupid stuff. I used to work with a juvenile court youth services officer who would regularly comb through the social media accounts of every kid that walked through her doors. Uh, One case was a drug possession case, and there was actually a photo of the kid wearing a marijuana leaf necklace and holding a blunt on his Facebook page. I mean, the stupidity of having something like that on a social media profile is insane, but it happens, and it happens more often than you'd expect. So shut up online, shut up offline, and just don't talk to the cops. If they ask why, say, police scare me. If they start to officially question you about something, say, I'm sorry, officer. I would really like to have an attorney present before any further questions are answered. Simple as that. Until next time, I'm Chris Seaton. This is the Sit Down with Chris Seaton. If you're enjoying what we're doing, you can always help fund this little endeavor by supporting our Patreon, which you'll find a link to right here. And if you want to hear our audio broadcasts, which today we're going to be recording a new one, it's going to be really interesting. You can go to the web address located here, or you can search for The Sit Down with Chris Seaton on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, wherever any fine podcasts are sold or stolen. Till next time, take care. Peace.